to the Curry podcast, where we speak all things curry, and Brian eats curry while we stream. How's it going, John?
I'm doing pretty good. Just gonna go ahead and start off with a hot take.
Like this
Seth
curry,
very underrated.
very underrated. Not the best curry, but very underrated.
Yeah.
This concludes the Curry podcast, and on to the Nashville sound check. How's it going, John?
Ever since I completely forgot Saturday existed, I've been doing really well.
Yeah, we have a lot to cover because missed a couple streams there. Your internet decided to hate all of us.
Dude, seriously, I didn't. So I got a text from AT&T Friday morning that my internet was out.
Yeah.
And I did not have internet until a tech came Wednesday afternoon to fix it.
Ooh.
I was living in the night. Like, I was watching DVDs.
Gross.
I know, right?
Did you go to Walmart and rummage through the $5 DVD bucket?
The $5 bin.
That was always a highlight of so anytime I went to my grandparents growing up, because they literally to this day never got internet, right? So in high school, because they're old. What do you mean how? What are they gonna do? So, but
they're gonna look up their memes.
Growing up, go to my grandparents. First trip, Walmart, dig through the $5 DVDs and find a movie. That is how I found Goon, one of my favorite movies. Great experience. Okay, I guess we got to talk soccer. We haven't done a show since. Yes, we haven't done a show since the Leagues Cup final. I didn't see you, or did I see you? You were there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw you at the tailgate.
That's right.
I gave you the mic arm that
I was
using.
Yeah, it's in the car. I'm running behind. I'm eating curry. I forgot to set it up. It's in the car. It's fine.
That's fine.
What was I getting at? Oh yeah, give me your Leagues Cup final experience. Let's devoid of final result, which we'll get to, which was insane. But let's talk about your experience of the Leagues Cup final while I eat curry.
Okay, so just the experience of the game itself, not the Leagues Cup, just from a
the
30,000 foot view. Okay,
the experience of
final.
Experiencing a cup final in Nashville.
Best in stadium environment I've ever been a part of. Not to throw shade at UT, but definitely to throw shade at UT. I grew up in Knoxville, and we would go to Neyland probably 2, 3, 4 times a year. And Geodis for the Leagues Cup final blows away anything that ever was.
It was insane.
So,
it was absolute insanity.
I watched from the back line because I'm a despicable person, and I sold my second ticket to fund my Kansas City trip in September.
That's fair.
So yeah, I sold it to go to another Nashville SC game. I feel like that absolved
I will
me.
give you a pass only because it was majority Nashville SC atmosphere and Nashville SC fans. Obviously there is the Messi contingent and there is the Miami contingent, but 80-20, it was.
I think so.
Yeah, because you obviously you heard the Messi fans, but they were always very quickly countered by lots and lots of boos.
Yes.
Which delicious.
I'm very entertained by how much flack we got for booing Messi.
Oh, dude, the fanboyiness, the dick riding, as Great Pants Thief said in a chat, was insane. What? Okay, time out.
Okay.
What are your personal opinions on Messi outside of this MLS time?
I think he's fine. I think he's an incredible player. I think he's shortlisted to be the GOAT, and I don't think anyone can disagree with that at this point. But the cult of Messi overlooks some just very serious flaws.
Correct.
I
personally love Messi, the guy. I mean, pay your taxes is the one thing, but why
do you think he went to Florida?
Correct.
He to date until they went to New York, he had only played in Florida, Tennessee, and Texas.
Yeah.
The 3 states without income tax. So that's just a fun.
But I think he's the best player of all time. Humble guy. I in the Messi Ronaldo fight, I'm on Team Messi. Outside of that, I And I personally like him. I hope he does fine in MLS. I hope he doesn't do what how he's currently doing. I hope the rest of the league kind of figures it out. But he's been making players look silly his entire career. That's who he is, right? I am not shocked, but I am greatly annoyed by the amount of, for lack of a better term, messy dick writing that's going on in MLS.
Yeah.
Did you see that Red Bull was selling Messi t-shirts in their pro shop?
I did, and I would not be shocked to see more teams do that, because I think it was a co-host who hates Friends, Travis Poole, tweeted something. He was like, casual reminder that MLS LLC Miami has defeated MLS LLC New York -Red. So,
and then H-Man in chat, the Revs ticketing email. It's like, come watch Messi score on us.
And he's doubling down too. There are at least 2 of those Revs ticketing emails where they're just like, we have no dignity.
Yeah.
Which I guess is par for the course with Boston. So
what that leads me to is I am very proud of Nashville, and I hate
for
this.
Fox. Fuck you, Fox 17.
I hate, fuck Fox 17. I hate to say this. Cincinnati, you did good too. You had
H-Man in chat says fuck Robert Kraft, only if you're his masseuse.
Ooh. But like Nashville and Cincinnati were very pro the home team and antagonistic towards the away team, which is how it should be. And I'm very proud of us for having that atmosphere, for fans buying those tickets, even though they should have been cheaper. But we've talked about this already last time we streamed. And the atmosphere that was created. John, I'm not kidding. The amount of adrenaline that was in my body for the entire game was almost to like a dangerous amount. That's how, like, I'm not even kidding. Yeah. That's how, that's the energy that was in the supporter section. That's the energy that was in the stadium. I felt like an out of body experience the entire game. And by the time we got to the, after the goal, from our goal onward, I felt like a physical like tingling. Like I was just like so. It was too much energy, right? But like in a good way. Like I don't know. It was special. I want to experience that again in Nashville, and I want to have the release of us winning it. It wasn't our time. And let's hope we get there eventually. But my God, what a fucking experience, dude.
Yeah, I think I talked to somebody about this. It was either earlier this week or late last week. Nashville didn't walk away with the trophy, but I would argue they still won in a sense, because Geodis as an atmosphere was put on display in front of the world.
Yeah.
So the fact that you have Taylor Twellman and Sasha Kljestan not only comparing us to the yellow wall in Dortmund, but then doubling down when people call them out on it. I like being compared to one of the more iconic, rowdy fan areas of, at least of Europe. I don't know enough about, definitely not as rowdy as some of the places in South America, to be sure. But the direct comparison there, like, that's a selling point. That's a soundbite that the team can grab and just use for marketing forever.
Yeah. Nashville has had 3 of these moments. Not Nashville SC, Nashville the city has had 3 of these moments in its existence, right? I would say the playoff push around the Music City Miracle, right? Obviously, the Music City Miracle is a special moment, and then in the city, the push to the Titans to the Super Bowl was special. Obviously, Nashville didn't host that. I don't think they hosted the rest of the way through the playoffs. I can't remember. But special moment. Number 2, the Preds in the Stanley Cup Finals in 2017.
Yeah.
That one's a little more directly comparable, where inside of Bridgestone was a special, special place. I was at the game that clinched to go to the Stanley Cup Final. It was bonkers. You had people in the streets, stuff like that. This was on par with that. The way, just the feeling in the city, the feeling in the stands was absolutely insane.
Yeah.
And it was.
And while we're comparing to the 2017 Cup final run, one of the coolest things about that as a neutral up until the Cup finals was being able to go to, like, where is it? Is it Walk of Fame Park where they did the jersey reveal in February? Going there, they had like a big watch party for games. I would love if Nashville SC did that, not even downtown, but on that north plaza of the stadium where there's a giant screen.
I think, yeah, no, for sure. And I think the timing of, like, once the kind of shopping area and the affordable housing apartments and stuff, once that's done, well, yeah, but once that's done, you will have this entire kind of party atmosphere area with bars and restaurants and stuff where that will happen. And I firmly believe that if this would have been a MLS Cup run, it would have been even bigger, because I don't think Nashville expected to be in that position. And I think we mentioned this on the last podcast. You can kind of tell that when they realized, oh shit, we're getting close to the final, they kind of upped their marketing budget and they're like pushing it throughout the city and stuff like that. With the MLS Cup run, that would be happening the entire way, right? I feel like Leagues Cup up until the semifinal was like, hey, come see us play Toluca, wacky, silly, like, oh, Club America, like it was more of a, it felt like more like a friendly, and then we beat Club America in the way we did, and then, like, hey, who cares about Minnesota? But it became real right after that.
Yeah.
If that same run happens in a MLS Cup playoff, push, it would be 2-3x bigger. I think personally.
I want to think. I don't know, because having those marquee wins, like beating Club America, it's one of the wildest.
Oh yeah,
mechanisms for it to happen. But you still beat arguably the most recognizable team on the continent.
No, you're not wrong.
There's not an MLS team to me that's going to equate to that.
Colorado Rapids. What are you talking about?
I mean, they have the same amount of DPs as Club America does, and Club America isn't an MLS team. So,
so here's the thing, because like I personally, I want Leagues Cup, because I think everyone was surprised by how good this tournament was, and let's face it, a lot of it was because of Messi. But this tournament was
the fact that he's scored in every game he's played in, because MLS is not skipping leg day, so they can keep riding his dick the whole time.
Yeah. The tournament was special. I would love for it to come back next year, which I think is guaranteed to. I don't know what changes they would make. Based off of what Don Garber said, it's not going to be any games in Mexico whatsoever.
Yeah.
This was a fun tournament. I hope the next time around, all teams take it as serious, if not more serious, than they did this time. Let's keep this going, because if this tournament was a little more prestigious, because it's not at this point, this is the first year of it, right? Other than the showcase last year, you would have had that hype from the beginning, which we just didn't have. It still felt like, oh, playing friendlies. We talked about on this podcast. I didn't care. I didn't care until, I think my mark was, if we won the first knockout game, I would kind of start to care, right? With MLS Cup and with Champions Cup or whatever next year,
CCC.
Yeah, those are tournaments, those are competitions that have the history, the prestige, whatever, and I would be, from the start, hype about those, and I'm hoping that Leagues Cup can develop into that over time. And I think next year I'll obviously go into it a little more excited than I did this year, but it's still kind of meh.
Are you gonna opt out for the Leagues Cup next year, Brian?
If the club sent me an email today and was like, do you want to opt in for the 2045 Leagues Cup? I'd be like, yeah, I don't know what's gonna happen in 2045. We might go to the final. Like, just take my money. I want to make sure I'm at whatever experience for under $300.
For real.
But
oh man,
the game itself. Still talking about the final.
Yeah,
I am
Sorry.
unbelievably proud of how the team performed. I turned to my roommate at halftime and he said, "We didn't think Messi was going to not score, right?" And him scoring, being the best player of all time, the guy that's probably going to win the Ballon d'Or this year. Sorry, I flubbed that. Guy who just came off a World Cup, best player of the tournament in the World Cup. He's going to score ungodly, otherworldly goals. It's just gonna happen, right? And it took him getting exactly enough space to fit the ball in between two players surrounded by 5 players to put it upper 90 with a full extended 6'4" goalie. Like,
well, not even that. Walker wins the tackle.
Yeah.
He knocks the ball away, and Messi's like, all right, fine, let me shoot it through 4 guys.
We were, and H-Man, I was about to say that same thing. We were 2 inches away from winning that game. Walker gets a little bit more of a step on it, or Dax is 2 inches a little further to the right. That game is won by us. 1-0.
I mean, we're also 2 inches away from losing that game if Campana remembers how to score a fucking goal.
You're correct.
Like that was on Not Top 10 last week, and that made me laugh so hard.
But all I'm saying is we held the best player in the world to 2 opportunities. One, he scored what would be the goal of the year in MLS.
I mean,
was the goal of the tournament.
The dick riding that's happening in the MLS goal of the week now?
No, yeah. But it
would absolutely be goal of the year.
He scored an otherworldly goal. His second chance went off the post. He got, from my view, 2 chances, and that's it. And you know what? If you can hold Messi to 2 chances, I like your odds. I do.
Yeah.
We played unbelievably well. There were obviously a couple chances like Surge. I wish you would have put that in. There was a couple chances we couldn't convert it on, but it played out exactly how I expected it to play out. I thought it was going to go to penalties. And at that point, if you go all the way through to the keepers, it's a pretty fucking dead even game. And it's a coin flip. It's a coin flip. And you know what? We lost the coin flip, but I had one of the best in-person sports experiences of my life that I will remember for the rest of my life. So you know what?
Yeah.
I wish we would have got the trophy, but let's move on to the next one.
Yeah, I have 2 points to make very quickly. One is for the people in the wake of that game who talk shit about Panico.
It was like 4 people. No. This is fucking stupid.
Stop it. And I know a lot of it is like, I know something that we do in the NSC Discord is we overreact to the people in Facebook overreacting. But like any takeaway from Panico's Leagues Cup other than like, you know what? Maybe he's, I was pretty low on him to start with, to be honest with you. The MLS games that he's got, I hadn't been super impressed by.
He didn't play well against Toluca.
The run of games he got in the knockout games, I thought he looked good.
Yeah, no, in the knockout games he looked great. I'm saying like in MLS he hadn't really looked all that great. And then against Toluca he let in 4. And
who did look good in the Toluca game though? Like that was
yeah.
It was a precursor of the it was a preview of the Atlanta game.
We'll get to that.
But my second point is shout out a friend, I'll call him friend of the show, Clay Trainum, who before the Leagues Cup even started, he was like, there's a chance Nashville progresses far enough in the tournament that they host Miami.
Yeah.
And I don't think that either of us had put together that it would be for the final yet, but we knew it would be a late tournament knockout game. So he's clairvoyant.
Clairvoyant.
It is a segment they need to have on Pharma, and they can have it. I don't even need the credit for it.
No, we need it. It needs to be. It needs to be the clay. It needs to be welcome to Clairvoyance. Brought to you by the Nashville Soundcheck. Sponsored by John.
Okay, I'll take it.
The Tostitos Clairvoyant. I was just trying to make it sound like a bowl.
Tostitos hint of lime.
Yeah. Clairvoyant segment brought to you by Nashville Soundcheck. sponsored by John. Yeah.
Oh, dude, the fucking change.org petition. That was some bullshit.
I think 4 people signed it. It was probably
and they got
4 different
into
emails.
removing it.
But yeah, so
it was actually Travis.
To kind of tie a ribbon around all this, I cannot be prouder of NSC fans. Almost universally, we were praised for the environment we created, the support we had for our team. There was a couple people that were pissy that we booed Lionel Messi, but like, what are we gonna do? Not boo Lionel Messi? Like, what do you want from me? He plays for the other team.
Yeah. Don't you know that it's Messi in America and you're legally obligated to bow down?
Yeah. What hurt
really far because he's short.
What will forever hurt my heart is they won the game. Obviously that hurts, but the image of him being thrown up and down, Messi being thrown up and down by his teammates, and in the background you see our giant N light that's in the corner of the stadium, hurts. Because I'm so into NSC, MLS, soccer in general, fan culture in general, my TikTok algorithm is like 20% like soccer stuff. And I just had to not use TikTok for like 3 days because every time I opened it, I saw that fucking clip of Messi getting thrown up and down, celebrating a cup win in front of our logo. And it hurts. It fucking hurts. Moving on from that.
Moving on.
I don't want to talk. I don't want to talk about
Miami again Wednesday.
I don't want to talk about the Atlanta game, but
I definitely don't want to talk about the Atlanta game.
I don't know about you. The first 5 minutes, I'm like, we're about to fucking torch them. We came out hot. I'm like, we're about to torch them, and then I don't know what happened. I don't know if we missed a chance, we something didn't go our way, and the hangover from the Leagues Cup kicked in. I don't know what happened, but it went to shit fast.
Yeah. For me, it was as soon as Hani missed that, just 9 times out of 10, he fucking buries that, right? Yeah. And as soon as that went high and wide, I was like, yeah, this is not gonna go well.
It was not great, and it was crazy to me in a 5-day span to have the highest of highs, and obviously we didn't win, but having the high of playing like we did out of our fucking mind for the past 2-3 weeks, and then being in a final to then losing 4-0 in Atlanta was insanity to me. And, and on a certain level, we all kind of saw it come. Maybe not 4-0, but we all kind of saw like, we just lost in a final. Like, this is
over.
It, like, and we always say this with Nashville SC after a big result, either in the positive or negative. It's always like, okay, something wacky's about to happen. We just don't know what direction.
Yeah,
like if something wacky happens, you can bet the next game will be either like Nashville puts up 5 goals or Nashville lets in 3. It won't be a close game. It's going to be insane, which makes me terrified for this Miami game. But that game sucked. I kept sitting around waiting for something to happen and just getting progressively more sad.
I feel like I skipped sad, or I was in it very briefly, because I went straight to like aggressively disappointed.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you saw, the conclusion that I've reached is that as important as Hani Mukhtar is, I don't think he's the most important player for this team.
Oh, you said Dax, right?
I think it's Dax. Because you look at, it was Annabelle and Sean, right, for the majority of the game. There was just no ball progression. The midfield was just getting torched the entire game. And, I know you look back at Miami, and again, it wasn't a win, but throughout the League's Cup run, Dax is putting in just incredible passes. He's in the right spot consistently.
Yeah.
And I don't think you saw that Saturday. I hope we see it Wednesday if we want to have a prayer against Miami.
Yeah.
H-Man in chat saying Dax and Walker are absolutely massive. Well, I went to Walker's meet and greet yesterday, and he's in a walking boot. So that did not make me feel good. There we go. I like it.
Boot. I mean, he may be in a walking boot, but who knows? Maybe he comes back. The game sucked. There's nothing for us to dissect here. The game just sucked. I felt
also. Didn't Atlanta make like 4 new signings over the summer?
Yeah.
Yeah. What's that like?
I felt like a bad result was coming. Obviously, it's like we just lost in a cup final. We just had this long stretch where everyone else is resting. I still think the League's Cup will be an overall good for us. I think this Miami game, I honestly don't expect to win. I would love a draw out of that.
I just don't want to get shit on after that Atlanta game.
Getting a result out of that Miami game would continue to give us amazing amount of confidence, right? If we get anything out of this Miami game, I think it cancels out that Atlanta game and they just continue on the confidence streak that they had in Leagues Cup. I think we'll be okay. Where I'll get worried is if we lose this one and then we play poorly against Charlotte, then I'm worried. If we lose this one and we lose against Charlotte or even draw against Charlotte, I'm concerned. Because we are creeping down the
not even
the table.
Creeping at this point. We're 6th.
It is incredibly hard to climb the table. It is so fucking easy to just plummet straight down.
Yep.
And with Miami being at the bottom and them probably going to start picking up points,
I
don't want to be.
They're absolutely going to make the playoffs.
I don't want to be anywhere near the line at all. I still want and expect us to be in like 2 to 4 if they start clicking now, because that's kind of where we.
Do you remember earlier in the season when we were like the floor for this team should be a home playoff game? And then like July happened.
So I don't know. I still know I'm the serial optimist in the fan base. I think me and Clay are the 2 biggest optimists when it comes to this team. I think we'll be fine. I if we get to the Charlotte game and its shit still looks a little fucky, I will be concerned. But I think with the talent we have, with Fafa coming back from a red card, which I forgot about, with hopefully Dax getting some rest, with hopefully Zimmerman back, with Leal slowly but surely working his way back in, and hopefully performs a little better. I think we'll be fine. I'm worried, but I'm not. Everything's on fire yet.
H-Man, Fafa's red against Cincinnati was completely legitimate. He got a yellow and then he got a second yellow for just like full on shoving a dude. He needed to do better. And if Coach Travis was here, he would back me up on that.
I mean, you're not wrong. I'm just still mad about all the. I'm glad, knock on wood, knock on wood, knock on wood, knock on wood, knock on wood. I'm glad all of knock on wood. I'm glad all of the red card, yellow card bullshit stuff is behind us. Knock on wood, knock on wood, knock on wood.
Why would you say
I've
that?
knocked on enough wood. It is not my fault. It is not my fault. Knock on wood, knock on wood, knock on wood, knock on wood, knock on wood. Okay.
For me, Brian, I'm essentially completely bypassing Wednesday. I don't expect anyone is going to get a result in Miami. I don't know that anyone will get a result against Miami because MLS needs them to make the playoffs and they need Messi to win his treble, which the fact that they're still in the Open Cup pisses me off. So I'm skipping straight to Saturday, the Charlotte game.
Yep. No,
Charlotte is
Go ahead.
It's not a must win because I don't like calling things must win.
It's not a must win for the hope of our season, but it's a must win for the hope of morale. Like
for the vibes.
Yeah.
And Charlotte's bad.
And even then, it kind of is a must win for the hope of our season. Like if we lose that and we are mediocre through the rest of the year, I think we still probably make the playoffs, but you're not where you should be. You're not where the talent says you should be. You were just ranked. Nashville, I think in that last ranking was like 10th in CONCACAF or something crazy like that. Like your performances against some of the best teams on this side of the hemisphere or this side of the globe was insane. Like you held your own against the two biggest clubs in Mexico. You almost beat Lionel Messi, Jordi Alba, and Busquets in a final. Like we should be at the top of the table. I will not allow, but I will understand whatever happens in Miami. It's a fucking clown show. I get it. But the rest of the way, like we need to be what we know this team is. We need to be. And we need to go into the playoffs with rattling off like a 4-game win streak. Like we need to do that.
I mean, how many games do we have left? Like 11?
9.
10? Like 9, 10, 11, somewhere in that range.
I think we had 11, and then we should have 10 now.
And then Atlanta. Okay. Man, it was such a momentum killer to have that Atlanta result in the wake of an incredible run where like for the first time, I would argue for the first time since the MLS debut game, it felt like more than just the soccer fan base in town was behind Nashville SC.
Wow, did you just call that Atlanta game COVID-2?
I did.
Oh, okay, cool. Thanks, John.
Two vid.
COVID-2 electric boogaloo.
I had a coworker out all of last week with new COVID, whatever the strain.
Oh, we're so back. We're so back.
Yeah, we never left. We're in the South.
Oh man. Okay. Give me, this may be a little short of an episode, but give me predictions score-wise for both games, for Miami, for Charlotte.
Okay, I'm going to give 2 different predictions for Miami because there's some like award show in Monaco on Thursday for like the best of UEFA awards or some shit. And Messi's nominated because he was the best player in Europe last year, who I guess wasn't Erling Haaland or Kylian Mbappe. So I'm gonna go, assuming Miami has Messi and he plays. I'm gonna say 3-1 Miami.
I don't.
Assuming they do not have Messi, I'm gonna say 2-1 Nashville because they're a bad team, and signing the greatest player of all time can only paper over that so much.
You're not wrong.
And then for Saturday, I'm going to say wonky result game. It is going to be 4-1 Nashville.
I like that. Okay. So going into the Miami game, I'm not confident. I think, like I said, it's going to be one way or the other. It's going to be wacky. It's going to be a crazy result. And we're either going to lose by a fuck ton or win by a fuck ton. And just surprise people. I'm gonna just be bold because it's a podcast and this doesn't matter. Who cares? 3-1 win Nashville with a Surridge hat trick. Why not? And each one of those goals is assisted by Hani. So 3-3 for our 2 biggest players. Charlotte, I don't know, 47-2. I smoke Charlotte. I don't know, but for real,
47.
I think
R.I.P. Bozo Charlotte pack.
Actual Charlotte prediction. It would be the most Nashville thing ever to beat the brakes off Miami and then draw Charlotte at home. So
fuck you.
So let's go with a 0-0 draw versus Charlotte,
the worst kind.
After beating the brakes off of Miami. The most Nashville thing to ever happen.
Brian, I hate you.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I just read the tea leaves, man. I just read the tea leaves. Like it's if we beat Miami, I am guaranteeing a draw or loss versus Charlotte. Like it's just
Brian,
what will
happen. What if we want the belt? What if we want the belt?
I hope we win both of them 5-0.
Fuck.
You just punch your mic.
I mean no, I just popped my fingers.
Ooh.
It hurt a little bit.
But yeah, I think this was gonna happen. All right, John, any final words?
Got a 3-1 L in Miami and 2-1 dub for Charlotte from H-Man in chat. Nice. Any other final words? I think Dan Lovitz is selling a recliner. Try to find it on Marketplace because I think it's a real thing.
Yeah.
Gary's gonna make DC beat Atlanta. That's okay.
I'll take it.
With what players? When does the winter transfer window open? When can Nashville sign a
the off season?
We'll
be fine. We'll be fine. We got this team. We just got to a cup final and beat two of the biggest clubs in Mexico.
Wait, actually, Brian, I'm hearing it's just come in. Tim Sullivan actually just called me before he put it on Twitter. Nashville SC is signing
Yonder Cadiz,
young American midfielder. Thoughts and prayers.
Jizz Hornkamp.
Thoughts and prayers are going to fix this roster.
Jizz Hornkamp is coming to Nashville. But yeah, my final say, I guess, for the podcast, we'll be fine. Hopefully, realistically, you look at the team, you look at the stretch of results we had, you look at who we've beaten, you look at what we added. Surge looks like the real deal. He had a big game against Atlanta, but we all did, right? Every player did. We will be fine the rest of the season, and we have a chance to win MLS Cup if we get into the playoffs and we get hot like we did in Leagues Cup. The ceiling is limitless for this team. It's just if they want to wake up and play like how we know they can play.
Yeah.
Outside of that, I mean, I think that's it, man. Please rate 5 stars. Leave a review.
How many are we up to before?
I have no clue.
Bug is 100, right?
Yeah, I think it's like 28 on Apple and like 18 on Spotify. So
that's almost halfway there.
Rate 5 stars, share with your friends, follow us on Twitter, do all that shit. We got a lot of new listeners, so appreciate you guys. And we will catch you next Monday. Yeah, that's it. Bye.
See y'all.
Keys.